Howdy, paranormal people. Welcome back to the podcast. It's us again on the Ghost Encounters of the Third Kind podcast show. That's the intro for you. Anyway, we've got a full team again tonight. Myself, Nick, Faye and Marie. And we're going to talk about witchcraft. Ooh. Have we got any witches in the house?
No.
I don't know. Called it.
Witchcraft.
Magic and spells.
Do you believe in it, Faye? Do you believe in it?
Yes.
You do? Do you believe it
Just
can
yes.
work?
Yes.
Why do you believe it can work?
Because I've had a couple done on me.
Oh.
I wouldn't say done on me.
Done for you.
me. Yeah.
And has it helped you?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Do you think
And
it could be a like a mind over matter suggestion type thing, Faye?
It could be, however, the things I've had done for me, I didn't know when they were being done. I wasn't told what was being done, but I knew they'd been done, and I asked the question, had they been done? And they had.
Right.
And it could be a day after, a week after, a month after, but I knew exactly when they'd been done. So, yeah, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Not really.
Did you have to pay for this service, or was it to
No,
freebie?
no,
How'd you
I
get away with
didn't.
that?
It was my friend.
Oh,
It
a
was
friendly
my
witch.
Friend.
Friendly witch.
Friendly witch.
Not grot bags then.
Pardon?
Not grot bags.
No. Who?
Drop
No. Who? Remember grot bags?
Who?
Come
Yeah.
on.
Which is unusual, really, for a witch to do it for nothing.
Yes, but there's white witches, good witches,
No.
bad witches.
Back in the day when the witches, they were called wise women, they were witches.
Were they really witches, though?
Oh, yeah, definitely. They did it for payment for either food or something like that.
Well, maybe this
how they got
particular,
along.
witch just did it for friendship because there was a friendship there. Maybe.
Sounds a bit selfish, that doesn't come in.
Just helping a friend out.
So what did you do then, Marie?
Oh, he's called you out now, Marie.
Not a lot, Nick. I didn't do a lot,
you
actually.
not?
No.
It was a sleep spell,
I,
actually, because I really,
And
really...
it's still working, isn't it?
Especially on a ghost hunt.
I must have gone overboard with that one.
Yeah.
No, like many. It was some
I
time
was
back now.
struggling really bad, yeah.
You were?
Yeah,
I got-
was
You
struggling.
couldn't sleep?
No, I was up on the hour every hour. I wasn't, and it was taking its toll on me.
Yeah, and you tried all the
Oh, I was on sleep tablets and everything.
Nitol, lavender oil, everything you can think of.
So what did you actually do?
Well,
without
She
getting
can't
into...
tell you that.
No,
can she?
I'm not asking what was in your spell.
No. It was just many moons ago. Quite.
I think I was a guinea pig.
It was a way back now. I sort of got
Turned into a
interested.
guinea pig.
No, I was a guinea pig for Marie.
I got interested in spells. I was just interested in do they work, what goes into it, that kind of thing. And I just read up and I started having a little dabble. And I kind of thought, oh, do you know what? I could get into this. I could do this, and I quite enjoyed it. I think it was just you know when you hear people say that they do certain things and it's just like a bit of me time, and you just go into yourself and you do it yourself and peace and quiet. And I got into it. And then I shared what I was doing with a couple of very close friends because I wasn't doing it for anybody but myself. And a couple of really close friends said, "Oh, I'm struggling with this," or, "I'd like this. Can you do something for me?" And one of the big things for me was not telling them what I was doing or when I was doing it because of this power of suggestion. Because I wanted to know if it worked as well. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people...
Well, I think that was my initial... I said to Marie, if you can, I've had sleeping tablets... I'd tried everything, hadn't I? I tried everything, dietaries, drinks, tablets, and I said to Marie, if you can, I do, then I'll believe it works. And she did.
But I would always say, I'm not telling you.
It's quiet, isn't it?
I'm not telling you when I'm doing it. It might be the day after you've asked. It could be a week. It could be a month after. I won't tell you what I've done, and I'm not telling you when I've done it, because, you know, it's just... So sometimes it would have been 3 weeks after I'd been asked. Sometimes it was a month after. But I would say 9 out of 10 times when I'd done something pretty much within 12 to 24 hours, I'd get a phone call saying, you've done it, haven't you? Because something's changed, something's different, you know. And I know this sounds really silly. And yeah, it could be coincidence, but I had a friend that was struggling with relationships, and I did something. And literally within about 24, 48 hours of me doing something, she was having text messages off certain people she hadn't heard of for a long time, and it was almost like an abundance of everything, and she made a joke out of it and said, whatever you've done, it's worked tenfold, it's too much now, do you know what I mean?
I bet you put the number in the Brown's telephone box.
Do you know, I was just going to say the same thing.
So I did dabble in it a little bit, and that's all I did. I did a few things for a few friends, and then I stopped doing it because it may sound silly, but I was just exhausted. It tired me, and don't get me wrong, I wasn't doing it 10 hours a day or every day. It would just be maybe one every 3 or 4 weeks, but it was exhausting me, zapping me. So I just stopped doing it. I kind of lost interest and I stopped doing it.
How did you lose interest when it's something so special?
Because of how it made me feel. I didn't like feeling the way I felt. So I thought, well, we'll knock that on the head. We'll stop doing that, see if my mood lifts, see if I felt a bit more energised, see if I felt better, and I did. So that's how I knew it was that. Really, what I should do to double check is maybe go back and do a little bit and see if it makes me feel the same again. But that's a risk, because I really didn't like feeling the way that it made me feel.
Is there a way you can control that?
Maybe. You know, I was just a novice. It was just something I was dabbling in. I had nobody telling me or helping me or teaching me or anything. It was just something I was doing myself. So maybe I was doing something wrong that was zapping me that didn't really need to if I learnt a bit more. But yeah, I kind of stopped doing it. What about you, Nick? Because we know you've dabbled in these things.
Yes.
More than dabbled.
Mm-hmm. Every day I used to do the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram alongside of the Calibistic cross, is it?
No idea.
You know, Kabbalah anyway. It's a cross, it's calling on the gods and that. Anyway, I used to do that every day just to build up energy. It's a bit like, they used to describe it as weightlifting for your mind.
So explain a pentagram. That's not necessarily evil, is it? Is that not a
no, it's not
protection?
Evil. It's a protection symbol at the end of the day, the pentagram is. And what I was doing was a banishing. You can do the invocation of a pentagram. You can also do the banishing. A banishing is to cleanse, basically. And it's the actual ritual I was doing. Like I say, I was calling on the 4 quarters, but I was calling on the Hebrew gods, the 4 names for the Hebrew gods as well. And so it was like, although I don't, as you know, I'm not religious, it was touching on religion. I called upon the archangels, but I didn't see them as the archangels. I just saw it as the guardians of the watchtowers of the 4 quarters, like the fire, air, earth and water. So I didn't treat them as 4 archangels from the Christian God.
No.
And they were just watching over our world from them 4 quarters. Anyway, and they allowed me to bring things in, and then what I really got interested in is the god Pan. I'm listening for.
Sounded like a water rushing coming through the headphones then. I didn't know if it was outside noise or if it was some interference on the headphones.
Okay.
Sorry.
And the god Pan, I was really interested in. Being a pagan, most pagans sort of worship or call upon a certain god, you know. A lot of women work with Diana. And they're all stem from Greek gods, really. Pan was a Greek god. He was banished as a Greek god. And if anybody doesn't know who Pan is, he's the one with the hooves and the horns, and he's the god of the wild hunt. He looks after all nature and everything.
Straight away we'd think of the devil,
yeah,
wouldn't we?
You would think of the devil, yeah. Also, people sort of associate him with the Green Man as well, although that's not strictly right. But anyway, so what I started to think, I'd like to get closer to Pan. So I started
did that not
doing.
just frighten you?
Well,
Jeez.
so I started doing a ritual, and now you can find out why I am very with Aleister Crowley, and it was the same ritual he used to evoke Pan. And you must have heard it starts Eo Pan.
Oh, don't say any more.
No, wait,
Please
well,
don't. Oh, I'm sat by this
anyway,
blinking scry mirror.
No, yes. But anyway, just cut a long story short, I did it. I didn't master it fully, but I felt him in the presence a number of times. I've had his presence in the room. I'm on my own, by the way, when I'm doing this. And I'm sat inside. I've drawn a big pentacle on the floor of me old meditation shed. And I've had the candles on all the points and everything. And I think I've told you this before. At one point a gust of wind come and all the candles went out. And I'm even got goosebumps now just telling you about it. This is the first time it happened. It just took over. It didn't go in me, but I knew it was there. And it was that intense, the feeling. At first it was a bit scary, but then you got to get your head around and thinking, well, get a grip, this is what you asked for, you know. So was it Pan? I felt it was Pan. I think it was Pan.
Did you see any? Did you not see
No,
anything?
not seeing anything, just felt the presence. I've not seen him. But it's like, I suppose when you're going on a ghost hunt or an investigation and you gain a spirit close by, you feel the presence. It's the wind with the trees.
Is that where
outside.
it is? Is that the noise?
I think so, yeah. It's gone a bit rough ever since I've been starting to
Yeah,
talk
no,
about Pan.
I've got something. I've got a breeze around me now. Stop it.
Anyway, so, and I loved it, but the problem is with it, I couldn't wait to do it again. And then I got up the next day and I wanted to do it again. And I was going obsessed with it. And I was doing it again, and I was doing it again, and that's all I wanted to do.
Did it never ever feel dark to you and a bit?
A little bit,
You know,
but it felt right. It sort of had an hold on me.
I was going to say, I think just the thing that you felt like you were drawn in.
Yeah.
To me, that's a bit dark.
Yeah.
Because it's like an addiction, isn't it?
I've never actually had people do. There's an evocation, and with the other one, you have it. They reckon it's inside you.
Oh,
Never. I've never done that. I've done the evocation where he's been around me. I've called upon him, and he's in the circle. He's been in the circle with me, in the pentagram. But I know at first I didn't allow him in because I'd do the banishing ritual first, and he was in the room around the circle, and I was safe in the circle. But then I allowed him to come in the circle, which was really intense then, you know. But it drains you. It drains your energy so much. It's when people. I mean, I told Lisa about it. And so, well, what are you doing it for? You know, because I just thought I need to do it, and the feeling you get from it is just ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. You can't explain it. I mean, we've done the DMT, haven't we, and all this, and you can't explain that. This is a similar thing. Probably is a bit darker, but it's more personal.
But
you could have I could have gone on to the next level, but I didn't do.
But to what end is that, Nick? What's the? I mean,
I just wanted to get close to him.
What I was doing was to see if
you
could do something to help somebody else with a particular problem.
No, it was all for me.
What was the end game for
me
to
gain knowledge?
Okay.
I wanted to gain knowledge of the earth or whatever, and then it got too much, and I was getting a bit depressed, and because it was draining me and all that, and I sort of backed off a bit from it, and then we found DMT, and that replaced it really on a better level. That was a nice thing, you know. I do miss when I think about doing the evocations and stuff like that. I do miss it sometimes, but I don't think I can go back there because it takes over your life, you know. And then, how I say I don't believe in possession, maybe if I'd have carried on doing what I was doing, that probably could have ended up in some kind of possession state. You know, I don't know, but I wouldn't advise it to anybody to do it if they don't know what they're doing. Did I know what I was doing? I don't know if I didn't completely. It worked for me, and I was getting some really good stuff, because some of the times it was there, it was a bit weird and a bit nervy, but once I got used to it, you'd sit and I felt as though he was in the room with me, and through my mind I was asking questions and he was answering them. I felt as though he was answering, you know, like in a meditation state. I felt I was in meditation in the room with him, and I was asking him all sorts of stuff, you know.
What would you class that as, Nick? Is that a witchcraft? Is it spells?
Well, it's ritual magic, isn't it? It's
ritual magic.
Yeah, it's like a ritual magic. There's all different sorts, and there's a lot deeper than what. And when you start with the invocation, as Nick will tell you, when you're asking it to come into you and take over you, and I think that could be a bit dangerous, like, you know.
But if you did that, how would you get it back out again? Because then it's taken over you then.
Yeah, well, I never allowed that. So at the end of my experiences, what I was doing, and I'd just thank him for coming, and then I'd do the lesser banishing ritual again to banish him away and cleanse the space, but saying this is only for now, temporary, but I will want him to come back when I call him back, you know. So don't get me wrong, every time I did it, it didn't happen. There was times when I felt as though he wasn't there, you know, but the first time it happened, when the candles went out and it went really heavy and I went chilled all over, and it was like I could hardly breathe. It was really having a thinking, God, what have I done here? You know, so. But yeah, anyway, that's my story. Anyway, I finished doing it because I thought I was getting depressed and everything. Then I found hallucinogenic drugs, and everyone was doing it. And now I'm no ritual magician. I'm a psychonaut.
Do you think manifestation falls into the same bracket as sort of spells? Not necessarily witchcraft, but sort of. Do you think that falls in the same?
Manifesting what though?
Anything. Just the practice of manifestation. You know, when anything, because you can manifest
when you ask
anything.
The universe type thing.
Yeah. Do you
think
think
mind control, isn't it? So.
Do you think that comes under the same umbrella as spells? And it's all intention, isn't it? I mean, when you're doing the spells, you constantly you're throwing your own intention in, and you know, all the time. And I think that's what tires you out sometimes, because you're throwing your all into doing something.
It takes, what I was personally doing, takes that much out of you. It just drains you because you were using all your energy. You know, when you go on an investigation and you're calling out to a spirit or whatever and saying, use my energy to do this, use my energy to do this. Well, I was sat there fully and begging this entity to take all my energy, take everything, so you can come and sit with me in this space. And that's what was happening, you know. And at the end of it, I was just knackered.
I think, you know, when we've done investigations, the next day when we get home and we sleep and we get a couple of hours sleep, the next day when I wake up, every single time, all I want to do is eat rubbish. You know, like sugary and take away just bad stuff. And I think that's the same thing. That's a bit like, you know, eat a whole bag of Haribo sweets after you've done an investigation. It's like you just crave sugar and energy. And because I think investigating can drain you as well, can't it? And it's very tiring. How do you feel about it, Nick? About magic and spells and witchcraft and...
Yeah. Well, I'm not too up on witchcraft, to be honest. Nick's the one for that.
No, but do you believe in it?
Yeah, I do believe in it. I believe in the intention. And again, like you said, draining. I believe it drains you because you just like a transfer of energy. You're putting your energy into, like you say, manifesting. That's what I believe is happening.
That's exactly what was happening to me. I was manifesting.
Yeah.
Whether it was Pan or not, I manifested something that I believed to be Pan.
Yeah, in the image of, yeah.
I do strongly believe, you know, that if you're asking for something, manifesting, whatever you want to call it, if you believe yourself to be strong enough to make it happen, and you really believe yourself to be powerful enough to make it happen, and you seriously put your energy and your intention into it, it's quite bizarre that quite often it actually happens. Do you know what I mean?
What about?
I knew I'd do it. I knew I was going to be successful with it.
What about like with spells? What about using it for ill intention then? Do you think it comes back tenfold? Do you think it...
Well, they reckon it comes back threefold.
Yeah.
When I was messing about, I was asked a couple of times to do things that I wouldn't have been happy doing, and I didn't do it. But I don't know if that's because, basically, I think not because I was thinking it was going to come back threefold, but I'm a big believer in karma. Anyway, so I'm thinking, why would I want to be manifesting something bad on somebody I don't even know? That's just bad karma to me. That's not something as a human being I'd want to do anyway, spells or not, you know what I mean? So that's not anything that I ever did anyway. So no doubt there's people out there that do.
And the Wiccan thing, I know not every witch is a Wiccan, not every Wiccan is a witch, but they call it the Wiccan reading, there's a law of three. If you do anything ill will to anybody, you'll get 3 times that back upon yourself.
Yeah.
So, but I don't suppose it stops some people.
No.
Obviously.
No.
You know.
But do you think they really believe in what they're doing if they're not bothered? Because who would deliberately put themselves in a position where they're going to put something out and get it back 3 times? Who would do that?
You can't really, that's a good point. You can't really believe in what you were doing if you don't believe it's going to come back at you 3 times, if that's the said thing, you know. Whether that's right or not, but I know that is the...
But also, witchcraft magic aside, what kind of human being it would be happy to do that anyway?
Yeah, I know.
Thinking that that's going to work, you know, believing that you can make something bad happen to another human being.
It all depends on the reasons somebody's asking you for it. Say, pardon me, sorry. I don't know, it could have had somebody killed or something, and somebody's killed something because, well, can you do something to them because he's just killed my son?
Yeah, but when you're a big believer in karma, you just think, well, they're going to get theirs anyway, aren't they? Eventually, you know. So.
Yeah. We asked the Harry Krishnas that once, didn't we? And he said, and they were happy to you give out your own karma, basically.
Really.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. And language, I think, is, especially Faye, I bet she watches all these TikToks.
I wondered what you were going to say about my language then.
No, I don't mean about bad language. I mean the way you ask a question, whether you ask it in a positive way or a negative way. And that's why words are called spelling, I guess.
Spelling, yeah.
With the
People are
spells
casting
I've
spells
encountered,
every day and not knowing they're doing
with
it.
the spells I've come across, should I say, I never asked a question. I said the outcome, if you know what I mean.
Give us an example for the listeners.
Am I going to get a new job? You don't say that. I will get a new job. So the intention already is positive, and that is what you were heading for. So you're not asking that question. Are you with me?
Well, if you're asking, you're not quite believing it,
No,
are
this
you?
is it. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what Nick's just said, because...
And just saying the words, I want to be thin, you're actually saying I'm fat. Aren't you?
So it's all in the how.
It's all in how
you
you present
say
it.
it.
Why did you look at me after you said that then?
Nasty.
You said it and then looked at me
Well, you have got the box of cakes in front of you.
and the bowl of sweets.
I didn't. Take no notice of that. I'm going to delete that out. That's nasty.
No, we didn't look at me. That was just a joke. No.
We're doing some deleting now because of Maria, aren't we?
Well, what else are you deleting because of
No,
me?
don't delete much now. It's all in there. Everything.
You can't be bothered to listen back to it anymore.
No, that's it. It just puts it out.
Yeah, so I think it's intent.
So when it's when you read things and it says ask the universe, you shouldn't really ask the universe. You should tell the universe. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I think that's a different thing. Do you mean in meditation?
That's manifesting.
No, it's manifestation is asking the universe for things that you want, isn't it? But what you're saying is you don't ask the question.
Through the spells I was doing, encountering, you said the outcome, if you know what I mean. You know.
Bit like that. It's a bit like The Secret, isn't it? They do the kind of the
Yeah.
same, don't they? In The Secret.
Yeah. Instead of like, I want a new car, I'm having a new car.
Yeah.
You know, so it's positive.
Yeah.
From the word go, it's positive.
Yeah.
Not, can I do this or can I get that?
But there's doubt there then.
It's doubt, exactly.
doubt,
That's
isn't
it.
But they tell you, like, if
Yeah.
you want a new car, you've got to imagine yourself in the car, smelling
See,
the new leather.
that's where I struggle. I can't imagine. I can't just do that. But I struggle meditating anyway. So.
Do you know, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to all this and I'm thinking, do you know what? I've done I've known about manifestation for a long time and things like this. But these are things that I've never thought about asking for. New cars, new jobs, that kind of thing. It's always been for good relationships or health or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, missing out on this here. I've not been asking for new cars and things.
That's it, yeah. They're just examples, you know, of... obviously, I don't use that because every car I have is a bag of shit. Touch wood, this one's all right. I hope the lights are on.
Yeah, lights are on.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, manifestation is becoming a bit fashionable these days as well, isn't it? It's getting out there and more people are aware of it. And
Positive thinking.
it,
They call it, don't they? Positive thinking.
mindfulness now. Everybody.
Mindfulness.
They're all into meditation. A lot of people now are all meditating, and you've even got sports stars now meditating and stuff.
Yeah. I think mindfulness is something that we all should do, because I personally think we miss out on such a lot when we don't take note of our surroundings. I think we miss a lot of signs. I think we miss a lot because we just go about our business with our heads down, don't we? Or faces and phones and radios on in the car, and I think we miss out on a lot of stuff that's going on around us. So I think we all should do mindfulness before it became a trend, if you like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you see, we've spoke to people and they say, you know, or when somebody passed over, I ask for a sign and I never get a sign. And I think we all get many signs a day. We just don't notice them. Just don't notice them. So
people have come to me before about it, like, and I've got a mate who messages me regularly, to be honest with you, and he'll say, well, what do you think about this, and can you do this through meditation? Because he knows I'm a massive believer in meditation and stuff like that, and when he asks me some questions, I've known this guy for a long time, grew up with him actually. He seems to think I'm some sort of psychic or medium, which obviously you know I'm not. But through meditation you can pick things up, can't you? And he's asking me, like, why isn't, I won't say why isn't this person communicating with me when I'm calling out to him regular and things like this, and like you've just said, I said he could be giving you signs every day, but you're just not noticing them. You know, and I believe they do. And we've even had things before come through the ghost box and everything, and they've said, watch for me. You know, and things like that. So they're actually telling you.
It's a bit like when you're thinking about something or someone, and then a song comes on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's like the words to that song actually answer what you've been asking or you've been thinking about.
It can be something. It can be something so simple as being outside in your garden and seeing a bird land on your lawn that maybe was that person's favourite bird, or they used to have a lot of that particular bird in their garden. Now, most people would just see a bird landing in the garden. That's an everyday occurrence. But if you actually sat and you thought about these things and you took more notice, I think you would notice a lot more signs. And I think they are signs. And then on the flip side, some people think just normal things are signs as well, don't they? So there is a balance somewhere. But yeah, I think there's like little smells that just come and go really quickly, and like you say, songs on the radio just as you get in the car at that precise moment, and particular songs. And yeah, we've got a thing where we live now that it's a really bizarre thing to say, but we used to have a robin land on the fence post and just sort of sit and look at us through the window. And it wasn't very long after my mother-in-law passed away, so I just used to say it was my mother-in-law. So every time this robin came, we used to say hiya or morning to my mother-in-law. And then it was almost like once we started doing that, this robin would follow my husband around. So if he was working, building a log store out the back, it would go and perch on top of the log store and watch him working. And then if he'd be in the garage, it would just sit on top of the garage door and watch him. And it was almost like, is it? You know what I mean? Is this? Yeah. And now we have this robin nesting in the garage, and it's laid eggs.
That could have been happening for a long time and
before we even noticed.
Yeah.
But this robin now has built a nest in the garage whilst my husband's been working in the garage on lathes. He's been drilling and grinding, and this robin hasn't taken any notice of all this noise. And it's flown in and out hundreds of times, carrying leaves and bits of stuff, and built this nest right at the back of the garage, laid eggs, and is currently now sitting on the eggs. And it's not, and we have to leave the garage door open a little bit so it can come in and out. And and now it's just nesting in there. It's really weird, from just seeing this little robin looking at us a couple of times to all of a sudden now it almost feels like it is somebody we actually know. It's quite a bizarre feeling. It's just a bird, but it just feels familiar to us.
So now you're going to have a flock of them watching you.
So now we're waiting. We're waiting for these eggs to hatch now, and hoping they're going to all hatching. We'll have little Baba Robins,
Very good.
which is very cute. Yeah, so see, we've gone off on a par again, haven't we? We started on spells, we've ended up in signs and, mindfulness and synchronicities. Very fascinating subject. We just don't know how to talk about it,
Should
do
do
we?
a show on it, really, shouldn't we?
We should,
Yeah, very, very difficult to talk about, but very fascinating subject.
it must be nearly every day I come across one, but when you come to sit down and talk about it,
But some people would just call them coincidences, wouldn't they?
Of course they would.
But some people don't believe in coincidences. So yeah,
That's it then. Is that it then, folks?
That is it, I think.
Let's,
Wrap it up there.
we touched on a couple of things there, didn't we?
rabbit
Good,
it on
interesting.
again.
Anyway, Marie,
Yes.
can you just do me one for?
Yeah.
We'll talk later, Faye.
So if you want any spells doing, it's contact.
Somebody else. Contact at somebody else. That's what it is. Yeah, definitely.
Very good.
So thanks for listening again then. I think we're done for this
Yeah.
one again.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's it. Us done.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.